Madar, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What brings you to the World Energy Congress?
Masdar's participation here is part of the UAE participation at large. And you know, the United Arab Emirates is a global energy player. We've been exporting hydrocarbon resources to the world for the last 6 decades. And I think it's part of that journey that the UAE is also participating at the World Energy Council, Congress here. And our participation is part of that delegation is also to showcase what we do at Masdar in the arena of renewable energy and sustainability.
You head up Masdar Clean Energy. What is that?
Masdar Clean Energy is for profit, it's commercially driven establishment, and the idea for us is to develop large scale utility projects in country and overseas on pure commercial basis, whereby we have a target internal return on internal rate of return on the investment that we make. And the idea is to help develop renewables on commercial basis, and we've been successful at it. We are today, in less than 10 years, we have a portfolio of nearly 2.5 gigawatt of renewables projects that we have delivered. And I think this is a good beginning for us, and we have an ambition to grow that.
What makes the UAE a leader in the GCC for renewables?
I think at the outset there is leadership. Our leadership has had a long-term view, take bold decisions. Back in 2006, when renewables is still an emerging technology, especially within the Middle East, especially for a nation that is known to be exporting hydrocarbon, there was that long-term view that hydrocarbon resources will not be there forever. Eventually, these resources are going to diminish. So there was an idea to launch a program in Masdar to start to build national champion who could develop and extend the legacy of the UAE in the energy sector, this time in new forms of energy, renewables. So I think it's the leadership that drives the ambition, but moreover, I think is actions that have taken on the ground proves that leadership is not only talk, but is followed through. And as I said, we have projects in country and overseas, 2.5 gigawatt of real investment, pushing the envelope on renewables, which today has become a value proposition to be adopted, not only for climate change consideration, but there is a real business opportunity there for us to pursue.
It's interesting you mentioned your international investments. How are you seeing those portfolios developing?
So our technology focus is two fronts. Primary technology, we have expertise in solar PV, photovoltaic, and solar thermal, CSP. And we have plants in Spain, 3 beautiful plants, 120 megawatt, parabolic trough and the tower technology. And back home in Abu Dhabi, we have the Shams 1 project, CSP technology. And this year, actually, we are successful to win a tender in Dubai, 800 megawatt of photovoltaic at a world record tariff, 299 cents per kilowatt hour. This is no longer the tariff since our win, the other bids that came out. But also we have expertise in wind, onshore wind and offshore wind. In the UK, we are proud that we have developed the London Array project, the largest offshore wind farm in operation since 2013. We are now actually made the second investment in the UK, the Dudgeon project, a wind farm, 402 megawatts. And this project is under construction and hopefully will come online by third quarter, fourth quarter next year. So I think we have a good split between wind energy and solar energy being our prime technologies. But we also have appetite to develop new forms of technologies which are waste to energy. There's an increasing attention from our side towards the importance of waste to energy as a technology to deal with the waste challenge that municipalities and countries face. We also have an interest to push the technology where water desalination is concerned. 90% of the water that we consume and get produced back home in the GCC region actually is desalinated water because the underground resources are not sufficient. So we need to find a way to make that technology more sustainable and more cost effective. So we have also an increasing interest in developing expertise there. Lastly is the carbon capture and storage, CCS, and we are proud that we have a scheme that we're going to integrate hopefully soon next month, whereby we capture CO2 from an industrial site and then treat it, strip the water vapor from it, and have the pure CO2 pumped into a pipeline, whereby it goes to the oil fields and gets injected and sequestrated forever. So you are able to capture CO2 at large volumes and emit them by storing them into the reservoir. So these three technologies are secondary technologies, but we have growing interest in these technologies.
Why are you doing this? What is the impetus for putting all this time and energy and money into these developments?
Multiple drivers. So one, environmental stewardship. The legacy of our founding father, the late President Sheikh Said bin Sultan Al Nahyan, champion of the earth in one of the years that he was selected at. Over the years, when the nation has been going through nation building, we have always been environmentally sensitive. All the projects, all the development have always been sanctioned once the environmental impact assessment has been secured. So us as a nation and as a country evolving into renewables is a continuation of the stewardship in being environmentally sensitive. Secondly, again, it's energy landscape, and for us that is the prime know-how for us. From oil and gas to renewables, we remain in an energy landscape, and I think it's only natural that we transform from oil and gas into renewables in a phased manner. Thirdly, it is business. It is absolutely business. The business case is solid today. The cost of electricity from solar energy is competitive against the conventional alternatives, whether it's gas, combined cycle CCGT, or nuclear, or even coal. Today, the cost of electricity from PV in particular is quite competitive. And as such, there is the value proposition. And lastly, it's a diversification of the economy. You create new economical sector, you create new sets of jobs. So there is this a holistic approach that the leadership have thought about. And this is why we are involved and engaged. And also partly being an international citizen, whereby contributing to combating climate change and trying to help maintaining the rise in temperature within the 2 degrees mark. So in totality, from environmental to climate change to business perspective and value proposition to energy leadership, this is just a natural evolution for the country, and I'm delighted that Masdar is contributing to that.
What next?
Continue to grow the business. I think since we were launched in 2006 within the Middle East region, we were the first. But since then, we've seen Saudi Arabia coming up with new targets, 9.5 gigawatt by 2023. We've seen Jordan taking strong steps in adaptation of renewables. Egypt, Morocco, the whole region is hungry for energy. And we stand as a credible partner because we have track record of building and operating projects, but also overseas, from the UK to Spain. We have appetite to expand our offshore portfolio. We'll be looking at opportunities, but what is going to drive us is a solid business case, a solid regulatory framework to incentivize us to make the investment. So the future for us is continuation of growth, hopefully to double what we have by the next decade.
Madam, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.